Thank you for joining me again. So what I thought we would look at today, or practice today, is working towards Vrksasana or tree pose. So with the idea of finding the ground beneath, which is very helpful for me at the moment, that whole idea of stability, the whole idea of finding a sense of safety from something that we can be in contact with, especially when control seems to be taken away from us. And with the idea of tree pose, the idea of coming back into resembling something that's from nature, can be very calming, can be very comforting. That whole sense that whatever's going on around us, nature, spring is all around us, it's there, it's in the air, the sun is shining. So working with these practices can really give us a sense of comfort, a sense of quiet, and also that whole sense of hope that things change. Things happen and we deal with them, but deep inside us there can be, and there is, a deep inner understanding that nothing stays the same forever, that things do change. So let's get going. So if you just come onto your mat, just as we usually start a class, if you're usually with me or have been working the practices. So if you just come down onto your mat, so soles of your feet flat to the floor and your knees are bent. And I think this sequence or practice should last about 20 minutes or so. So letting your hands rest on your abdomen or your belly and just allowing yourself to settle, giving yourself permission to settle and to be here on your mat, in your room, in your house or wherever you are. And also giving yourself permission to feel whatever you feel. So if you're feeling a bit agitated or a bit unsettled, or if you're feeling quite calm, quite content, quite pleased to be here, whatever you're feeling, just being with what you feel and knowing that it's okay. And then taking your attention to your hands, we bring our attention to our body, to that sense of contact with our hands on our body. And as you breathe in underneath your hands, you can feel your belly rise in response to your breath coming in. And as you breathe out underneath your hands, you can feel the belly sink in response to the lungs emptying. So you come into contact with that rhythm and that pattern of your breath. And that pattern, that rhythm is there. It's with you. Sometimes it changes. Sometimes it can be a little bit faster, a little bit slower. But ultimately, with knowledge, we know that our breathing is always there. And as you breathe, just allow your knees to drop to the right. Just kind of starting to mobilise a little bit. Bring the knees back up and let your knees drop to the left. Bring the knees back up and now draw both knees in towards you. Lightly place your hands on your knees and just rock the knees from side to side. So the position that we're going to work with, tree pose or Vrksasana, is hip, in order to find that, we have to mobilise our hips. We find hip mobility in order to work that position. So we're going to start with our hips. So if you just come to centre, take both hands on the knees, so the right hand resting on the right knee, left hand on the left knee. And we're just going to circle the right knee clockwise. So we're going to circle the right knee to the right, and then we're going to start to circle the left knee to the right as well. So both knees starting to circle to the right. So rather than thinking of hip opening sequences, sometimes I quite like the word or phrase mobility. We're just trying to mobilise our hips. And in that sense, coming into an awareness of what's happening in our lower back as well. Because we can't mobilise our hips without knowing that it's going to affect another part of our body. So these are also really good at freeing up the spine, the lower spine, well, and around the shoulders as well. Because as you roll or rock the knees, circle the knees, you can feel that movement start to translate towards your shoulders, even into the back of your head. So maybe having that sense that you're massaging the back of your head. And then just stop. Now the left hand resting on the left knee, just start to circle the left knee anti-clockwise, so to the left, circling the left knee to the left. And then start to circle the right knee to the left as well. So both knees starting to circle to the left, so anti-clockwise. And it can be a big movement, or you can really slow it down and be quite still, quite quiet, small movements. Or you can just, I said the word still, you can just imagine that movement deep inside your hips. If your lower back is really feeling quite stiff, or your hips are really quite stiff today, then just imagine that movement. Where we send our attention, we do eventually start to find differences, shifts take place. and then stop. And just allow yourself to rebalance in the centre. Then the right knee we're just going to circle to the right, and the left knee we're going to circle to the left. So just kind of slowing it down a little bit. It might seem a bit strange, a bit of a weird way of doing things, but these might be what you do anyway if I just said circle your knees. And then we're just going to change it. So the right knee we're going to circle to the left, and the left knee we're going to circle to the right. And as you do that, maybe you have that sense of what's going on into the abdomen, into the core muscles. As you circle, if you send your knees away from you, you might feel the abdominal muscles start to work, so the centre of the body starts to come into play. As you just start to maybe send the knees a little bit further away, draw them back in a little bit closer. And then again, let's just reverse the circles. So whatever way you were going, just see if you can reverse it. So right knee circling to the left, left knee to the right. Right knee to the right, left knee to the left. So all you're doing is naming what you're doing. And in that naming, or in that noting, you just start to slow things down. You just start to increase your focus or your attention on what you're doing. And where do you feel these sensations in your body? And then stop, stop. Maybe if it's okay, take your hands underneath the knees, and perhaps you can ease the knees a little bit closer down. Draw your chin slightly down to have that sense of long neck from the base of the skull all the way down through to the tailbone. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, perhaps you can just let the knees draw in a little bit closer, but no forcing or pushing. Just let gravity, allow the forces around us to allow the weight of the knees to rest down. So we just come into that idea, that understanding that we don't have to do very much at all. We can just allow things to take their course. And we can notice the weight of our knees, the feeling of our breath. And then if possible, just rock from side to side. So just starting to massage the muscles either side of the spine and the back of your body. And just really slowing down as well. So not just your physical movements, but your attention can really just be with what's happening now. So all that flitting around with our mind, jumping around with our mind, maybe perhaps for a while, can just stop, and you can be with your body, and you can be with yourself. Roll to centre, replace the feet back on the floor, and just settle there for a few moments, just noticing how that lands, how those movements have landed in your body. And then we're going to draw the right knee in, take the hands underneath the right knee, ease the right knee down, circle the right ankle. A few times one way, then the other way, just noticing how that joint feels. And then we're just going to place the outside of the right ankle on top of the left knee. Lift up the right knee a few times. We're just starting to mobilise through the hip joint with this movement. And then just let the knee drop away. Now we're going to tense up all the muscles in the lower half of our body, or you might find that the upper half of your body tenses up as well. Tense the thigh muscles, tense the belly. Really notice how that feels. Breathe in, and then as you breathe out, let go of all those muscles. Let go, and then you notice maybe the knee drops away a little bit more, maybe the hip opens a little bit more. So relaxed muscles encourage more mobility in the joints. We try to keep the muscles, outside muscles, as relaxed as possible. Maybe we can ease that right heel a little bit closer in towards the left groin, but only do what feels okay for you. Maybe we can lift up the left foot, draw the left knee in towards us. Perhaps we can take the hands underneath the left knee, ease the knee down, but only doing what feels right for you. And then just see if you can rock a little bit from side to side, ease into the lower back, come to centre, and then maybe you can take the left foot up or left leg up. Soften the left knee. You don't have to straighten or push anything because there's a big opening through that outside of the right hip. Maybe you can take the hands a little bit higher towards the left ankle and just ease the leg down a little bit. So it's a bit of a stretch, but we're just trying to mobilise through the hips. Then lower the left knee, left foot, and then we're just going to see if we can take the right knee on top of the left knee. Hands can rest on the base of the ribs. Try to lift the right shoulder up and down a few times. You get your attention there. And try to keep the right shoulder down as you let the knees drop away towards the left. If this is uncomfortable for your knees, then don't cross the knees. The right shoulder stays down. If the right shoulder lifts, then just draw the knees back up to bring the right shoulder down. Can you turn your head to look over the right shoulder? Can you have a sense of the ground beneath you? The space around your body as well as your body itself, and your breath. and then just ease the knees back up, uncross, draw the right knee in, ease the knee down, draw the left knee in, ease the knee down. Then keeping the left knee in, place the right foot back on the floor, circle the left ankle a few times one way and then the other way. So we're just trying to free up as much of our body as we can. And then we're just going to place the left ankle on top of the right knee. Lift the left knee up and down a few times. You feel that maybe perhaps through the hip, feeling the mobilising through the hip. And then let the knee drop away. And we're trying to make the lower half of, well, all of our body really, but the lower half of our body below the level of the waist as relaxed and quiet as possible. So if we're not sure what that means, tense those muscles up, tense the thigh muscles up, pull the belly in. You can grip the toes, push the elbows down if you like as well. Then breathe in into all that tension. And then as you breathe out, let go of all that tension and feel your body be given to the floor. So the floor beneath supports you. And we feel that sense of safety, that sense of comfort coming up from the floor, because now we can relax into it and we get more mobility in the hips and in the knees. And if it's okay, can you draw that left heel a little bit closer in towards the right groin? But if it doesn't feel nice, you take it back. So you really are aware of what's going on with your body. If it feels doable, can you lift up the right foot? Can you draw the right knee in? Can you take the hands underneath the right knee? Just ease the knee down and rock from side to side. If possible, just kind of see where you are with these things, because you can always turn the video off and just kind of slow it down a little bit for yourself and see how it is. Just kind of experiment. Use your body almost as though you can observe what feels right for you. And then just come back to centre, and then just, if possible, you can take the right leg up towards the ceiling easily. We don't really have to pull the leg or force it. Gravity will allow the leg to come down, and then at the last moment maybe you can take the hands up towards the ankle. Elbows are wide, shoulders are wide, draw your chin slightly down. And really feel where you feel that the experience or the sensation. So maybe through the outside or around the gluteus, in the left buttock, or around the right hip, or the knee. You might be feeling this in your knees. Wherever you feel it, you notice. Because your attention, training your attention is really beneficial for rest, resting thoughts, resting the mind, resting your body. And then just bring the right foot back down. And if it's okay, take the left knee on top of the right knee. Take your attention to your left shoulder. Lift the left shoulder up and down a little bit. So just kind of circle it, just kind of know where it is. And as the knees drop over towards the right, the left shoulder stays just as it is. If the left shoulder lifts or feels really uncomfortable, draw the knees back up or uncross the knees. So really work with what feels right with you and your body. So your sensations, your physical sense of self is always your teacher. Then if it's okay, you can turn your head to look over the left shoulder. And you can feel your breath perhaps, wherever you feel your breath. So really coming into contact with yourself, your body. And then just ease the knees back. Uncross, settle there for a few moments, and then the right knee is going to come in, and this time you're going to lengthen the left leg along the floor. Left leg along the floor. And then we're going to place the right sole of the foot on top of the left thigh, and you're just going to let the right knee drop out to the right. Right knee drops out to the right. So if you kind of just think about this position, this is more or less in the tree or Vrksasana. This is the tree pose that we're going to do when we come to stand. So notice how your hip feels. Bring the knee back up, right knee comes up, and then just let it drop away again. Up and down a few times. So it's just that position. Take your attention to your left heel. Engage down into the left heel as the right knee just lifts up and down a few times. And then just see if you can draw that right heel a little bit closer in towards the left groin, and then just let the knee drop away. How does that feel in your knee? Now as the knee drops away, can you imagine the knee coming in towards the hip? If you place your hands on the centre of the spine, inside there is where you're drawing the knee towards. And then let go. And now we're going to place the left hand on top of that right knee, and you're just going to allow that right knee just to drop over towards the left. So now we feel that length. Now as the knee goes over towards the left, imagine you can use that hand, the left hand, to push the knee back in towards the hip, to draw the right shoulder down towards the floor. So you feel that twist through the central part of the spine. If it's okay, turn your head to look past the right shoulder. Make sure you're breathing and then come back. Draw the right knee in, draw the left knee in. Hands underneath the left knee as you lengthen the right leg away. And you can repeat that again on that side if you stop the recording, or we can just carry on the left. So now we're going to place the left foot on top of the right thigh, and you're just going to allow that left knee just to drop away down towards the floor. If you place your hands on the belly, as you draw the left knee up, imagine from inside underneath the spine, underneath the ribs, you're drawing that left knee back up. And then from inside underneath the centre of the spine, you let that left knee drop away. So you're not just mindlessly lifting the knee up and down, you're finding that connection to deep inside the centre of your spine. And as the knee drops away towards the left, from inside underneath the ribs, can you collect the knee back in, through the hip, as though someone's behind, underneath you, or beyond you, pushing the knee in towards the hip, in towards the spine. And that's what might allow the left heel to come a little bit closer in towards the right groin, and the knee drops away. And then you let go. So try not to tighten the hips. There's that feeling coming in underneath through the pelvis without tightening. And if you're tightening, you let go. You're aware. You know what it feels like to tense up. And you let go. And then ease the knee back up. Place the right hand on top of the left knee. And underneath the hand, the right hand, push the knee up. Push the knee up. That will lift the hip. But let the left shoulder stay down. Now stop pushing. Stop pushing. And let the left knee drop all the way over, as far, far away as it can, towards the right. And you can turn your head to look past the left shoulder. And you feel your breath coming in. You feel your breath leaving. And then just ease the knee back. And then just lengthen the leg away. Feel the heels in contact with the floor. Feel the hips and the shoulders, the back of your head, your breath. But ultimately know that the ground beneath supports you, and you can let go. And then when you're ready, draw your knees in towards you, just as we started, and just rock from side to side. And then we're just going to come over onto our side, whichever side feels all right for you. And we're going to roll ourselves up, carefully, quietly, and then we're going to come to stand. So we're going to go into the position, final position. So if you come to stand, so soles of your feet are flat to the floor. And if you can look at your feet, you have a sense, the base, the big toe, little toe, and heel. And just rock from side to side. So with that whole sense, we're trying to find stability from the floor. So that comes from our feet and through the feet. So whatever's going on with our feet will have an impact on the rest of our body. So if you're more onto the outside edges of the feet, so if you turn the big toes out or the inside edges up, so you come onto the outside edges, that will make you more bow-legged, and it will kind of, you'll lose stability. If you come onto the inside edges, the arches collapse, you lose stability or balance. So if you come now, trying to equalise the weight in the feet, base the big toes, little toes, and heels. Place your hands on the centre of the spine and just allow yourself to come to centre. So your centre of gravity is in the centre of your spine. And we don't want that to sink. And we just want it to feel as though we can come, this part here can come up away from the floor. It's like a tree. Inside here is more or less where the roots start. So beneath the level of the waist are the roots going down towards the floor. Above the level of the waist is the trunk, and the arms are the branches. So there's that whole sense. Here is your centre. Down below is what connects you through the floor and beyond the floor. So when you're ready, focus your gaze and you make sure you're breathing, and we're just going to lift up the right heel. Now when we lift up the right heel, that will bend the knee. Now can we draw the knee up towards the hip? Draw the knee up, inwards towards the hip, inwards towards the hip, and then let go. Do the same with the left. Draw the left heel up, left heel comes up. Try not to push into the right, up through the left heel, through the knee, to the hip, to the centre of the spine, to the centre of the spine. Can you keep that heel lifted with the leg straight? Can you draw the foot off the floor, off the floor, off the floor? as though you're coming up through the spine to lift the foot. And then let go, let go, let go. And then just lift up one heel at a time. Just get that sense of connection down into the floor. Now we're just going to do the opposite movement so you know what it's like to sink, because we're trying to lift. So you place your hands on the centre of the spine again, close your eyes, and just allow the whole weight of your body to pour and to sink into the right foot, down through the right side of the body. The whole weight of yourself can just be poured and sent through to the right foot. And really notice, take note of how that feels. Your ankle, your knee, your hip, your breath, your feeling or emotion. How does it feel to sink? And then carefully just readdress the balance into both feet. Base of the big toes, little toes, the toes themselves, the outside edges of the feet, the space in the arch of the foot, the heels. To rebalance, where your hands are resting on the centre of the spine as it now come back to centre. And then taking your attention down through to the left side of your body, just pour the whole weight of your body down, 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 down. Down into the floor. And notice what happens in your shoulder, your left shoulder, the waist, the hip, the knee. The right side might feel lighter, but how does the left side feel? How does your breath feel? As you just sink into the left side of your body, because that might be our habit anyway. And now just readdress the balance. And just notice, is it a relief? Do you feel relief to come back to the centre, or did you like being lopsided? Because some of us do. I think my side, I usually pour into the left side more than the right. So now open your eyes and just be aware now your body perhaps feels a little bit more equal. Your spine is central to the hips, and if the spine was going to carry on down, it would go all the way down through between the feet, and you've got space between your feet. Now if you're not sure about your balance, you can hold on to a chair, like I've got a chair ready here, so you can hold on to, you can touch a chair, or if you're by the wall, you can touch the wall or anything like that, so you know, you don't have to feel that you have to balance. So focus your gaze, make sure you're breathing. Hands can rest on the centre of the spine, and ever so carefully we're going to lift up the right foot without pouring the weight into the left. The weight goes down into the left foot anyway, you don't have to do it, gravity does it for you. So all we're doing is using what's around us. We don't have to do anything more than what we have to. And acceptance arises from that knowledge. We don't have to try to keep controlling everything. So we lift up the right heel, and we feel the weight a little bit heavier into the left foot, but can we still lift it up and down? And then carefully, with attention, can we just open the right knee out to the right? And the right heel can just rest above the left ankle. The hands can rest maybe on the base of the ribs, and when we take the left arm up, we're not taking the ribs with us. We take the left arm up, but we're not taking the ribs with us. The right toes are still in contact with the floor, and there's a feeling coming up from the floor. And when we take the right arm up, we're not taking the ribs with us, because we want the feeling to come in from underneath. Not the outside body, but the inside body. Focus your gaze, make sure you're breathing, and only if it's possible then can you lift the right heel to below the knee, maybe a little bit, or above the knee, maybe a little bit. And just see where you are. The arms go up, they might move, your body might move, but you're not taking the ribs with you. You're not taking the ribs with you. Maybe you can bring the heel a little bit higher, and then come out when you're ready. And we're not trying to particularly hold anything. We're just trying to find a bit of movement to come up away from the floor, knowing that the standing foot supports us. So let's do the same on the other side. So focus your gaze, and when you're ready, just lift up the left heel, and we can open the knee out to the side, out to the left. So we're just opening through the hips. The pelvis may be still facing forward. We're just trying to open through this hip. So the heel is still in contact with the floor. We're trying not to push or sink too much into the right leg. The weight goes down anyway. We can place the hands on the centre of the spine. Now just maybe as we did when we were working on the floor, just imagine that left heel can be drawn towards the left hip. and that's what brings the heel a little bit higher. The left knee can be drawn a little bit in towards the hip, and that's what takes the leg a little bit higher. Feeling of up, up, up. And you can, if you like, you can use your hand. You can place the heel a little bit higher, and if like you were on the floor, maybe the knee drops away, or you stay where you were, you stay there, or the heel stays on the floor. It's absolutely fun. It's just finding that, where can we go? Where is our boundary or stage or whatever, where can we go? But still have that sense of connection to the floor. So we just test it, we just kind of see. And you can hold on. You can hold on to the chair, you can hold on to whatever feels right for you. You can bring the heel a little bit closer in, just see whatever feels right for you. And as the knee drops away, can we still feel as though we can collect the knee in towards the hip? So our centre of the spine is our centre of gravity. If this goes off, then we lose our balance, I suppose, our equilibrium. So feel the standing foot, feel the hips, feel the centre of the spine. This part here stays quiet as the arms might lift. This part here stays quiet as the arms lift. And you feel your breath and that whole sense of coming up and away from the floor. And then come out when you're ready. Equalise the weight through the feet. So we're just going to work it one more time. So, and then when you're ready, we're just going to lift up the right heel. You're going to lift up the right heel, and this time we're just going to see, as we lift up the right heel, come up through the knee as though there's strings attached to the knee that draws the knee up, that takes the arms up. So from the centre of the spine, we're lifting the knee, we're coming up underneath, right through to the arms. We can take the leg out. How does that feel? If we take the leg out, can we find the hip? And as we place the foot, can we still keep that sense of coming in underneath the ribs? The standing foot supports us, and there's that sense of grounding going down. But there's also a feeling that we can come up from the heel, underneath the ribs, right up through the crown of the head and beyond. And you can come out when you're ready. So always try to do these things in a different way each time. If you do it in the same way every single time, you're just using the same muscles. And ultimately, we want all of our body to connect, and a sense of wholeness arises when every single part of us is being used, is being worked as it should be. And our bodies like to move. We like to move. You don't have to hold, grasp, grip onto anything. If you fall out of it, you start again, or you hold on. It's absolutely fine. And then when you're ready, we lift up the left heel, last time. And just see, how does it feel? You can place the hands on the centre of the spine. As you lift that left knee, can you imagine from inside underneath the ribs, through the centre of the spine, you're lifting the knee. So your spine is coming up. Your spine is coming up. You're not sinking down. The hips can rest a little bit as you open the left knee out, as you place the left foot, or wherever it goes. It might be below the knee or above the knee. You might want to keep the foot on the floor. There's that whole sense of coming in underneath the ribs. Imagine that right hip being pushed towards the left as you come up. And it's just a feeling. You might want to bring the left heel a little bit closer. You might want to use your hands, or you might just be quite content to find a sense of, a feeling of whatever you're feeling. I want to say lightness. I always want to feel as though I can come up away from the floor, but let my feet rest down. And the shape that you make is not important as coming into contact with those feelings that we experience. Knowing how we are right now is vital to health, and that's what slows us down. That's what allows us to make conscious decisions about what to do, or how to react, or how to respond. Not react, respond. So you can carry on working with tree pose for a little bit longer, or if it's okay, we can just come to rest down onto the floor. So just carefully, we can fold the knees, we can bring the hands down, we come back into child's pose, and just ease the hips back towards the heels. And I think I said I was going to do 20 minutes, but I think I've gone far longer. So we're just coming into child's pose, and just let the forehead rest gently on your hands. And just breathing and being with yourself for a few moments. Let everything settle, noticing how your lower back feels. And staying here for a while, or just coming to rest over onto your backs. just as we started the class. So coming back to full circle and just resting there for as long as feels right for you. And just being with whatever you feel, experiencing what you feel, and allowing the whole practice, the whole sense of what you've been working with right now to land and to be with your body. And taking your time. So thank you for joining me again.